Spoštovane dame, cenjeni gospodi, dragi gostje, prav lepo pozdravljeni na že tradicionalnem 11. osrednjem slovenskem srečanju IT menedžerjev. Lanskoletno vsebino digitalizacije spreminjamo v povsem novo dimenzijo. Zato dobrodošli v svetu po digitalni preobrazbi. Tu vladajo neustavljive spremembe, podnebje narekujejo poslovni izzivi podjetij, ki so fazo digitalne preobrazbe sicer uspešno prestala. Današnji svet je obarval generalni pokrovitelj Microsoft, zato iskrena hvala. Hvala pa tudi vsem ostalim pokroviteljem, podjetju Comparex, Comtrade, Zelinka, Dis in Marmis. En aplavz prosim za vse naše pokrovitelje. Bogate vsebine pa ne bi bilo seveda brez domačih in tudi tujih strokovnjakov, ki bodo skupaj z drugim dogajanjem poskrbeli, da bo letošnja konferenca spet presegla pričakovanja. Vrhunec srečanja bo zagotovo podelitev nagrade CIO leta. Prvič pa bomo podelili tudi novo nagrado, imenovano Digitalna preobrazba leta. Ne le, da je CIO leta postal najstnik, vse radodarnejši je v svoji ponudbi, vse modrejši po vsebini in povsem uspešno nadzira stopnjevanje hormonov, ki bi lahko bili tudi posledica tega lepega spomladanskega vremena. Torej, zakorakamo v tak dan skupaj in ga kar najbolje izkoristimo, zato da bomo jutri še boljši. Zatorej, konferenčni del CIO leta otvarja dr. Martin Stefan Thomas, Chief Operating Officer and member of the Management Board, Addiko Bank. Dear guests, let's find out about simplicity and speed in digitalization, please.
Front of such a group of very distinguished experts and accomplished professionals in such a beautiful environment. As you know, I'm not Slovenian, unfortunately. I'm German and the CEO of an Austrian bank. And I can tell you that I feel like many other people and investors attracted to Slovenia. Actually, I have to tell you, we choose to have our first offsite in Porto Roche. Now coming to this location, I find that there are many, many nice locations. Yeah? Why do I want to focus on simplicity and speed today? Let me first explain this. Digitalization, as you all know, has many aspects, and we will cover quite a few of them in the various speeches and hopefully in the discussion that we have later on. However, if you think what makes a business successful, it's always the customers. And that's why I draw the aspects on speed and simplicity. At least for us, we think the key factor of success for digital transformation is to become faster and simpler for clients. Yeah? That is specific for us as a retail bank. There are many other, I would say, topics you could choose, but it is my conviction that unless you start from the customer and you're very clear on what you want to achieve for the customer, all transformation lacks the kind of ultimate goal, which is to make the business attractive for customers. Now, allow me, before I come to what I would call 5 core hypotheses that we used to transform what is a standard mid-size regional retail bank, to very briefly describe what Addiko is. So I was basically brought in by one of the investors, and at the time we took over what was formerly known as Hypo Alpe Adria. The bank was basically a retail bank in 5 countries. of which Slovenia is a core component. The others, just to mention it, but I don't want to bore you too much with Addiko, is Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Serbia. And this bank had about 1.1 million customers. It had about 240 branches, 3,700 staff. And unfortunately, the bank, in the year the transaction took place in 2015, lost 675 million euros. Now, you all understand this is not a sustainable business proposition. In all fairness, the 675 need to be qualified because there were a lot of one-time effects, but still the operational loss in that year was 71 million euros. Now, you could look at our published results for last year, for 2016, where we describe much of the transformation. What has happened is that by now the bank is profitable, and it's profitable in every of the 5 markets we operate in, and we have done that transformation using our digital approach, and that's what I would like to focus on today. So you need to understand it's a focus on a transformation of a retail bank in that region. But I think some of the concepts, of course, can be applied for other industries. But again, I think always, as you need to think from the customer, digital transformation needs to be very specific for the industry you are in. And what I would like to do when I come to the 5 core theses that I have for our transformation, I would first always like to explain why we think that is very important, and second, I would give you the application in Addiko, so what concretely we have done. So let me start with the first one. I think it's very important for a retail bank to have full integration across channels in a digital transformation. Now that is very, I would like to make one remark, because there are different approaches and you can successfully establish pure online retail banks, that's no doubt. But for our transformation, it's very important to keep in mind that we had 240 branches. So the reason why I think the integration is so important is actually one dimension that is very important in a digital transformation, and that is the people. I call it the people aspects. So that's a question, how can you generate acceptance by customers and staff? And what we choose in, and actually Slovenia was a pilot country, is to establish a branch that we call Express Branch. It's in the BTC shopping center here in Ljubljana. And that branch fully leverages online technology and is still manned by people. The branch, just to describe what the full integration means here, is about 50 square meter. Just to compare it, in Addiko, we have in total 100, or had in 2015, 140,000 square meters. Now, keep in mind, we had 3,700 staff, and you can do the calculation. Our average branch size was more than 200 square meters. If you do the math, it is even much more, but it's very specific that the bank chose when it was established to put back offices into branches, and therefore we still have a lot of empty space. But what I'm saying is our new distribution concept sees the full integration of online technologies with branch-based distribution, and in that staff you can, on the spot, get what we call a fast cash loan. It takes you less than 10 minutes to get the money, and the staff on the spot is able to open an account and distribute the money via an ATM. So we have no cashier in the branch, it's a cashless branch if you want. And for us, that model works very well. We have great acceptance, both by our customers. So in the fast cash loan, the BTC is not the only distribution channel for it, but I can tell you that with the fast cash loan, we are very, very happy about the customer acceptance. And the staff is also fully engaged in that new concept. That branch is actually, or was started to be meant by people from other branches, and they don't feel threatened by this new concept, but they rather see how it complements our distribution approach. Yeah? Second topic I want to focus on is to draw the attention to always think end-to-end process. Why is this so important from my perspective? You always need to think what the customer experience is. It doesn't help if you digitalize and, in my view, and produce a nice gimmick. The question is, what is the service or the product that the customer wants to get? And then you need to redesign the process end-to-end. We did that for the fast cash loan, yeah? As you obviously will figure out when I tell you. It takes less than 10 minutes from you having the need to get a fast cash loan because in the shopping center you won't buy something, to have actually the cash in hand and withdraw it from the ATM. That needs a full end-to-end process redesign, including the back office, the account opening in the back office. And to give you another example from Addiko Bank, of course, besides loans for a bank is very open, it's very important to attract new customers who become core banking customers with their current accounts. When we started in 2015, on average, an account opening in a branch took 45 minutes. It varied a bit by country. So I would say the best one was around 35 minutes. The worst one was an hour, obviously also depending on what products you wanted in the current account. I can tell you by now, none of our countries takes more than 10 minutes to open a current account. And the best one, in this case, unfortunately, it's not Slovenia, it's Serbia. In Serbia, you can open a current account with standard features like a debit card in 2.5 minutes. Yeah. Again, that was an end-to-end process redesign. It also leverages our e-banking approach. Why it is Serbia, just to highlight the integration of the various elements. In Serbia, the identity cards are readable with little chips, and we have installed e-card readers in the branches and take all the information, which makes it very simple for the branch staff to open the account. So that's just an illustration or two illustrations, end-to-end loan processing and end-to-end current account opening. You're telling me I have 10 minutes left, so I need to speed up. But bear with me, I finish in time. Third core topic, when it comes to the development approach we use, and that's more probably core to the heart of all the IT professionals in the room. Yes, we use an Agile approach, and I think it is mandatory to have both approaches implemented. Standard waterfall approaches, there is nothing bad about it, but if you only stay in that environment, you will not be fast enough. So we launched an Agile approach. We actually, for our M&E banking, built a digital competence center where we hired, let's say, people that you're familiar with, but many traditional banks, I would say, are not so familiar with, like UI, UX designers. We, of course, decided to go for native applications in both, especially in M-banking. So we hired our Android and our iOS developers, Java developers. But let me come back. Why do I think an agile approach is very important? I think it's very important to have quick innovation. And I would draw a parallel to another sector. If you take a company that I personally respect a lot for its drive, is Tesla. And if you look at how Elon Musk develops Tesla, I think he uses an agile approach which has two characteristics. One is the minimum valuable product or proposition, however you want to call it, and what I would call a try fast, fail fast approach. Now let me briefly focus on the minimum viable product. Tesla is a great product, but if you compare a Tesla with a Mercedes S-Class and you're an engineer, you would say it's a horrible car. If you open the trunk, you can see still the individual screws were part of the, how it is called, the metal sheets are screwed together. Yeah? It looks like it's almost done in a garage. Yeah? I mean, it's properly screwed together, but for a Mercedes engineer, he would feel ashamed. Guess what? If Tesla would have focused on all those details that are not important for the car to drive and to demonstrate the concept, probably they would still need another 10 years to bring the first car to the market. Yeah? The first car to the market from the outside looked absolutely okay. And in terms of the value proposition, to have an electric car that has enough reach and drives fast, it's outstanding. And Tesla focused on those key components, and I'm absolutely sure that 3, 4, 5 years from now, also those screws will disappear and the car will look like a Ferrari. Yeah? But he really focused on that, and I think that is a key concept in innovation. You can't try to get it all. You need to focus on what is important for the customer. And then that leads me to the second one, the try fast, fail fast. Sometimes you get it wrong because you think maybe for a car it would be you think you need to reach 1,000 kilometers and focus too much on putting batteries that are too heavy in there, I don't know. And then you need to adapt. For us, to translate it back in M-banking, the minimum viable product that you need in M-banking is to make sure you can do transactions. Yeah? And we measure this in our M-banking. 85% of the usage of M-banking, you can use Google Analytics, whatever, is very simple transactions. That's what people do. Yeah? They look at their current account balance and they do transactions. It's all nice to have FX transactions, to move money between accounts, but in the end, if you don't get the transactions right, people will not accept it. So in the interest of time, I just speed up. Fourth one, which we felt is very important in the digital information for us, is to create an ecosystem of strategic partners. That is very important because but I think it's not only for a relatively small bank like ours, but even for larger players. If you think you can do everything yourself, you will fail. And I think that is a big problem in banking. If you compare ourselves to other industries, the amount of work we do ourselves is still way too much. And especially on the IT side, we focus on open API architecture. We choose strategic partners, and I'm very thankful for the cooperation we have established. By now, we have established what we call the Addiko integration layer that allows us to couple a rather complex backend system in the 5 countries. We have, if you want, 5 different core banking systems. They are provided only by 2 providers, but they are separate instances, a separate setup. And to transform a bank from a back-end or core banking system, as you all know, will take many years before you see any results. So what we choose is leave the whole core banking system as is, build that Addiko integration layer. Again, you could say, well, yeah, that's a standard enterprise service bus architecture. Well, the difference is you focus on what you need for your minimum viable product. So we said the first one we want is to be able to distribute products online. So M-banking, e-loan. And in order to do it across all countries, we focus the Addiko integration layer first on the e-banking and M-banking, on the functionality that is needed to go live with one front end. So across all 5 countries, we have now one e-banking platform, one strategic partner who provides the e-banking for all retail customers, and the same is true for the M-banking. That is rolled out as we speak now, and this year for us the focus is to do the same thing on the corporate side. Last topic, and then you see the connection to simplicity and speed. The last topic is measure, measure, measure. So what I'm saying, if you do a digital transformation, think about what is the KPI you want to establish. And you can trust me that we are very focused on making this sustainable and growing business, yeah, which is profitable. So in our company, we have a very clear focus on the P&L and make sure we need it to move from that 675, or let's be fair, minus 71 million euros in 2015 to break even. This year was the target. We already achieved it. But in digital transformation, to always come with, give me a business case, I think is the absolutely wrong approach. Yeah? And you will kill any transformation. I think it's the responsibility of a board to understand how the KPIs, the appropriate KPIs you choose, will actually translate into a profitable P&L. So when we talk about M-banking and e-banking, our key KPI is the number of active users we get. Yeah? And we have a clear understanding how it helps to reduce our costs in the back office and all those things. But what we measure in this case is the number of active users. And we complemented this year by something which is very close to my heart, which is a customer experience score. So we use a standard NPS. Also, we have selected a strategic partner to roll out that concept across the group. And not only measure NPS, I assume most of you will know the standard parameter to measure customer experience, a net promoter score. You can measure it, what is called the marketing NPS by surveys, and that's our focus, you can measure it on a transactional level. So the transactional NPS is basically you give the customer the opportunity to rate you for every single moment of truth in the customer journey that you select. So for a loan, it is, for example, for us, or will be when it goes live, the disbursement moment. Yeah? And we will, again, have thought through the process end to end. You will get an SMS when you get the cash from the ATM with a question to rate us. And that will hopefully help us to stay ahead, because we now see that others start to emulate some of our approaches, and we think that's great, because it gives us confidence that not only customers accept it, but that the competition also thinks that is a viable approach. And with that topic, I will finish in time, yeah? And I thank you for your attention.